The rerun was planned to take place beginning in June for 3 weeks of the summer of 1954. The experiment would have 22 boys, all from similar backgrounds, but vitally not to have ever had any previous interactions with one another. But where to get so many children? It's not like you can just go take a class from a school, as there would be prejudices, in-groups, microcultures, and already inevitable rivalries. All of this could muddy a potential experiment. In order to find a group large enough, a city had to be selected to find the pool of subjects. The experimenters settled on Oklahoma. Sharif decided that a maximum of 1 boy per school could be selected. Researchers were dispatched throughout the city to its many schools, and armed with higher education credentials and a letter, managed to gain permission from the principals to go into the schoolyard to observe 5th grader boys playing. These credentials also gained access for the researchers to the children's school records. This, compared to the modern world of stranger danger, really blows my mind. Oh, the 1950s, where a degree and a letter will get you in anywhere. In total, around 200 children were selected. This will require a little more selection, down to around 50. Anyway, to cut a long story short, around 5 or 6 children per school were selected, rated top to bottom in preference, and their parents were contacted in the same order. The parents were given the same explanation of the study as the principals, that the Sharif team was looking to study the interaction of group activities within teams and how they would act during sporting activities and their attitudes towards winning or losing. The parents were explicitly told that visiting their child during the 3 weeks was prohibited and the camp would cost $25, which apparently on the inflation calculator is around $261 in 2022 money. Eventually, the 22 participants were selected and thus the experiment could begin. The overall concept of the experiment would be copied from the 1949 and failed 1953 studies, but would take a 3-stage form. Sharif named the first stage in-group formation. This would take the space of a week, where 2 groups were kept separate, and team-building exercises were undertaken to form an in-group bond within the participants. Games and treasure hunts were planned during Stage 1 to help build friendships and in-group alliances. Stage 2 would be the conflict or friction phase. This would involve a tournament between the 2 groups, consisting of sports like baseball, tug-of-war, and a scavenger hunt, but also experimental tests like bean counting competitions. A trophy was promised for the winners of the competition, as well as prizes like knives and medals. Oh, the 1950s, where pre-teens were given weapons. The third and final stage was the integration phase, where the 2 groups would be brought together to undertake group tasks and leisure activities of watching films. To record their findings, hidden microphones were used throughout the 2 groups' living areas, which were used to record conversations to observe the camaraderie within the group. The groups were also given questionnaires to fill out about their group and later about the outer group.